we're going to take a look at using TradingView a little closer. We'll start off with a demonstration on how it looks on a phone. For most basic investment uses, a phone should be fine for you, but if you prefer the precision and additional functionality that is offered on a PC or laptop sort of thing, then you can look at that as well. I'll be showing both. When you first load it up, this is what you see. You're only given one watch list on the free version. That's fine. Initially, as a beginning investor, you're not looking to do too much with any of these things. They could become more interesting to you if you start to analyze and try to understand the market. But you have this red tab over there, and we're going to add a few symbols onto here. You can either tap this button down here, add symbol, or you can press, sorry, I did that kind of fast. You can press up at the top right corner here and add a symbol. BTC is the call sign for Bitcoin, and we're going to look at the USDT trading pairs. You'll see the first one, Binance. Binance is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. It's not accessible to us in Canada, but it does the most volume, and so it's worthwhile using as a frame of reference for general crypto price movements. This little plus button on the side here will add it to our list. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to put in the call sign for Ethereum, ETH, and again with the US dollar Tether stablecoin pair, and that's on Binance as well. If you were doing different types of analysis, you could start to use different ones. For example, KuCoin and BitGet and probably Femex. Those are three that I use here in Canada. They're available as well, but I still do most of my charting on Binance just because it has the most kind of reliable price reporting. So this is the beginning of the watch list. We'll have three more to enter when we look at the PC side to just continue the discussion. But for now, we will open up Bitcoin. And you'll see that when you're using the free version, you get these ads. And you can X out to hide that ad. The first thing we want to do, looking at Bitcoin, is understand that dragging on the price side over here on the right allows you to change the size of the candles, and then dragging on the date down here at the bottom allows you to bring more of the chart history into view if you want. So the first tool that we should add is the horizontal ray, and you can press and hold it and it will bring up this add to favorite. We want to do that because now we are creating our favorites bar. Let's go ahead and add the horizontal line as well to our favorites, as well as the trend line. If you ever decided that, oh, actually, I don't want to use horizontal line after all, you can press and hold it while you're in the favorites, and you can remove it from the favorites. So now you can see this floating point here. That is there because we have this show on chart toggled. If you take that off, it's gone. So if it's ever in the way or whatever, you could hide it temporarily, and then you could bring it back there, and then you could do a bunch of marking and what have you. The horizontal ray is really great for pinpointing where you purchased something or where you plan to sell something. The trend line is good for more advanced analytics. Say, for example, you want to say that, oh, we've got this trend upwards and it's, this is so-called support where price tends to bounce and come back up. Not really a huge deal for an investor like I presume you are, but one thing that you should know is that in being able to customize this, you can also add some words. So you could have, these are the options that come up when you double tap on the trend line you laid. You can type some text, enable text, and say, hi. All right. Now you've got that there. This could be anything. This could mention that a news event that happened, or whatever you want to know about this thing that you're pointing to. it could be right there. I'm going to delete that. I think the most important one that I'll be talking about is using the horizontal ray for starters. Oops, I didn't mean to drag that. And that can be what you use to track where price has gone. So you can pick it up and you can move it and drag it around. It will scroll indefinitely. Sorry, it will scroll forever off to one side, but it won't go any further back in history. If you do want the same thing as this, except it goes all the way back, then you're looking at using the horizontal line. And that is a good one for, if you want to see where is the lowest price that Bitcoin has gone in its current era. Oops. So you can delete something that you laid there. I'm going to press the horizontal line. And this is what I would consider the floor of it. Usually when I do it, I set that to white so it kind of stands out. And maybe I want to say that since this is the highest Bitcoin has ever gotten, that's my top, and this becomes my entire trade range for however you want to look at things. The horizontal ray, though, will be something that allows you to kind of create a history of your purchases, because presuming that you're using a scheduled purchase, and it will average out. Then if you need to understand how far you are in relation to something, eventually you will have a bunch of these lines, and price will wander and meander, and you'll always kind of have a general idea. Are you below most of your purchases? Are you above most of your purchases? Do you want to change your buy size? If you think it's going up and it costs more, maybe you try to buy less, or maybe if it's a discount, you want to spend more because then you have more growth potential. Whatever it is you're doing, this is how you kind of get set up with these tools. And again, remember that you can customize them. Once you're selected on a tool, all those customization options come up. So we will take the rest of the discussion over to the laptop. I'll just quickly show you, if you want to erase all these lines and clean up your chart, you can open up your drawings toolbar and drag over to remove, and remove your drawings. You probably don't want to remove your indicators unless they're in your way, but right now the only indicator we have is actually the volume, and the volume tells you how much has been trading. All right, here we are looking at TradingView, the app running on a desktop PC. This is a much broader screen. As you can see, there's room for the list on the side, details about each token down below, and then a nice large space for you to look at things. Same kind of navigational things that apply on the phone apply here. You get a few other options, especially if you're using a scroll wheel. You can do different things. You can hold control and expand out from one area that you're looking at. The tools are along the left side here, and each one of these tools has a subcategory of tools. So if you click on this little opener, you can see all the list of tools that fit under that category. Of course, we have our three favorites from before. I'm going to show you a couple more. One of those being the price range, which is important for a trader. And if you like using a brush on here, if you want to draw in here, or if you wanted to make arrows, rectangle becomes a very important one, especially for traders, because that's how you often define zones. And the brush might be how you outline what you project the direction of something to be, and then you'd say, oh, when we hit this zone here, then I think that maybe we'll bounce up. That's more advanced stuff that you don't really need to know about. Mostly, this is going to be your biggest tool as a basic investor. You're going to be putting in raise every time you make a purchase, and keeping track of where the general price is or where the current price is in comparison to most of your purchases. To add more tokens to your list is just this plus button here. If you follow along with some of my suggestions for tokens to look at and consider, you'll see I mentioned Solana, AVAX, and Link. As will be discussed later, these 5 comprise what I consider to be the safest investments in the shallow end of the crypto pool, as it were. Another thing I should show you as well is the time frame. Most of what you're going to be doing is going to be, a daily purchase once a week, once a month, wherever it is. You can find that just on these daily candles. If you are looking to observe the market a little more closely, then you would probably want to add the 1 week, the 1 month, and then maybe on the smaller end, 4 hours, 1 hour. And then you have the option to look at how things look on different time frames. It's the daily, that's the weekly, that's the monthly. You can see how it kind of, every time you expand it out, it's the same thing that you're looking at, just with a finer resolution because of all the extra candles reporting those small periods. One thing I should also mention is that this ad down here takes up much less space on the laptop than on a phone. So keeping in mind, if it's your first time and you lay something out, your floating point for that tool might be behind the ad. So once you pull your floating point out somewhere else and park it, that's where it's always gonna show up. One other neat thing that you can do on the PC that you can't really do on your phone is to open up another tab and look at multiple things at the same time. So you've got Bitcoin here, you've got Ethereum here. So instead of going back and forth, and how that can really help is if you pull that tab by pressing and clicking on it, you can create another window, and then you could do a split setup where you're looking at 2 different assets, and you can see that there's a level of coordination. If you're a trader starting out and you don't want to buy the premium and have kind of split screen setups like this stuff, then this is a way to kind of have some of that ability without having to pay the price for the subscription. Using the price range comes into your strategy. If you are looking for discounts and you say, well, I'll buy every time that we go down 10%, well, that price range tool is how you tell that. Or if you say, I want to take profit, I want to cash half of it out at 10% and half out at 20, or all of it out at 25. And this here can be useful for kind of showing different ranges. If you want to get an idea how price bounces around in an area,